Okay, welcome into a different episode of Strange Ways. We got a little bit of a curveball for y'all, staying in the Kiss world. But a few days ago, I got contacted by a gentleman named Peppy Castro. Now, don't be, feeling bad if you don't know the name. I didn't either because I really didn't pay much attention to music outside of my Kiss world back in the day. Peppy Castro is, just to give you a brief breakdown here, considered to be one of the early pioneers of psychedelic garage band rock eras, has done it all. Successful seasoned professional with great variety in his music, his fame and first hit record began at age 17 as one of the founding fathers of the legendary rock group, the Blues Magoos. His rock and roll status led him to starring the role in the original Broadway production of Hair. Pepe followed up with being awarded Drama Log Magazine's Outstanding Achievement Award for his music and lyrics for the groundbreaking show Zen Boogie, which ran to rave reviews in Beverly Hills. His songs have been recorded by the likes of Diana Ross, Kiss, and Cher, amongst others. He is also Emmy nominated and award-winning playwright and multi-instrumentalist who has penned and or performed hundreds of well-known jingles for decades. Favorite jingles include Budweiser, Chevy, Bounty, Nestle's Crunch, Kodak, amongst others. The list is endless. Potent vocals have appeared on numerous platinum records for well-known recording artists. He's enjoyed years of diverse music by being an original member of the Blues Magoos, Balance, Wiggy Bits, and the Long Island Music Hall of Famers Barnaby Bye. Pepe recently recorded and penned 3 songs with longtime friend Joey Kramer from Aerosmith on a new video game to hit the market in 2024. Some of the extensive artists that he has worked with include Laura Branigan, Michael Bolton, Liza Minnelli, Ronnie Spector, Peter Allen, Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Ace Frehley, Joan Jett, Buzzy Linhart, Rex Smith, Richie Havens, John Denver, Aldo Nova, David Johansen, Darlene Love, Melanie J, and the Americans, Cher and Diana Ross. So also on deck in 2024, he got some great news via London and New York. Pepe has co-authored 6 songs that will soon be mounted groundbreaking musical Warhol with the iconic Sir Trevor Nunn, Katz and Les Mis directing. So what I'm basically saying, this guy's the real deal. Extensive, successful career in the music business, both as a performer, recorder, or recording artist, you name it, the guy's done it all. So imagine my surprise when I get an email from this gentleman out of nowhere, saying he watched my video it was a music news video, but the title was basically Trouble in Paradise, talking about how Steve Brown and Ace Frehley were having a difference of opinion of who wrote what on the album 10,000 Volts. He offered me his extensive take on it, as well as sending me an outtake song that he wrote with Ace Frehley for the album. Now, anybody who's been watching this drama knows that Steve Brown came out after the album's success and had made comments such as he brought in 97% of, the material and recording. There's been a lot of controversy stating that Ace did not play hardly at all guitar-wise on this album. None of this, I'm telling you, is true or not, because I wasn't there. It's always going to be one side versus the other side. They've since kind of mended ways, and Steve Brown's kind of retracted. But if you read between the lines, I don't think he really did retract it. I think he still stands by his statements that he did all the work. What had happened before this album got recorded is Ace and Peppy Castro worked on a song. The song is called Venus with a Whip. And he had Ace take it to Steve Brown, and Steve Brown hated it. He had made some disparaging remarks about Peppy and his work. And Ace brought the message back saying, look, I love it, but Peppy or Steve Brown doesn't like it. And, Peppy at one point said, well, let's sit down with him, and see what we can figure out. And Ace didn't want to bring in, additional writers. To me, that looks like a financial thing. He didn't want to cut things 3 ways versus 2. I don't know. But basically, Peppy was going to take the high road on this from what I've been told and understand. But Steve Brown did his podcast tour after this album became a success and started running his mouth, of course, patting himself on the back. And at the same time, basically saying Peppy's work was, not good, garbage, whatever you want to say. I don't remember the exact quote. So he reached out to me because he liked my, as he put it, non-bullshit attitude. And he wanted me to hear this song and get his story out because he figured, watching me and how I conduct myself, that I would be honest and I wouldn't bullshit him on whether I liked it or not. So he wants me to release this thing. And I went back and forth with him on email, saying, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And he basically eventually came back and said, okay, just, give him half, because he's recently, went through the channels to make this thing, legally his and Ace's song, copyright wise. But what he did, from what he told me, is he hired Anton Fig, longtime Frehley's Comet drummer, David Letterman, and Kiss Unmasked, and millions of other credits. And another Dynasty, yeah. And another gentleman, and they, who? Which? Yeah.
Yeah.
So between him, Anton Fig, and another gentleman, his name escapes me. I didn't memorize it. I apologize for that. They finished this song while keeping Ace's vocals, and he made it clear to me that unlike the album 10,000 Volts, this song was truly predominantly Ace's guitar work, making the insinuation to kind of back up the other controversy that's been out there that Ace really did not do much on this album other than sing and write. Like I said, I'm not saying one way or the other because I don't know. This is just everything that I've learned and that's been confided in me. So what I have done, I've sat on this for a few days thinking it over, just to see, the best way for me to approach this without offending either camp. And of course, I reached out to Scott today and I sent him the song. And I am not going to do it live on this because I want the sound quality to be perfect. I will edit it in sometime in this podcast. You will get, at least half of the song. I would have played the whole thing, but out of respect for Peppy and the copyrights and the songwriting credits, and if he wants to release it somewhere, I'm not going to step on toes. So I will bring you in this video at some point, at least half of that song. And right now, what I want to do, I have not talked to Scott about his experience listening to this yet. So I want to, before I give my take, I want to get Scott's opinion on what he thinks about this whole situation and what he thinks about the song Venus with a Whip. So It's all you, Scott.
All right. 10 seconds. I'll be right back.
She'll do a ballerina dance inside your mind. She's gonna get inside your head. She's got a heart like you'll never find. She's like the one you've ever met. Skin tight, love and fantasy. I really love what you do to me. You know I love how you take me away. She's like a Venus with a whip. Oh baby, you're a trip. Taking her time, she's gonna render you right. She'll give you love like you'll never forget. When you touch me, don't ever
But yeah, man, hey, you know, you know, I mean, it's got a groove to it, bro. I mean, yeah, is that supposed to be a demo? Is that what that is? Or
I guess you could call it a demo because it wasn't apparently finished because he brought Anton in after the fact to finish the song. I think that the way he worded it to me, it was an outtake, and then he finished it because he was so upset with Steve Brown's take.
Okay.
He wasn't upset that he didn't use it. He perfectly understands that. He had no problem. He wouldn't have had a problem, from what I gather and talking to him, that if Ace didn't want to use it. His problem was that he and his work and ideas were talked about in a very disrespectful way as a result of this effort. So he, you know, did what most of us would do and, you know, hey, I'll show you, I'll finish it. And I'm assuming eventually he's going to get it out there to the masses. So.
Okay. Well, my opinion on it, if it was a demo, it was a damn good sounding fucking demo.
Yes, it was.
Because everything but the lyrics, I guess you could say, which I couldn't hardly tell what the hell was being said. Even though the singing, if you know, for Ace, if that was an outtake, then I wouldn't think there would be many overdubs or much splicing done for an album take. So if that was Ace, it wasn't bad. But still, the song is it's a decent song from what I could tell. I mean, the groove, the beat, man, everybody was on top of it, dude. The drums, the lead was cool. I mean, I just wished I knew what the hell he's talking about. See, you can tell that it's not something that they professionally done to put on there because you would have been able to understand more of what was going on. He was singing pretty quick in this song, so.
For Ace, he definitely was. That surprised me.
Yeah. And, but it's now, I don't want to get, you know, too overbearing with it, I guess you could say. It was a good song. That's about as far as I can go with it. From what I could tell, now it may have been a damn almost great song, or you know, really, really like song after they polished it up maybe and done an album of it or whatever. But like it is, as far as I could tell, hell, it sounded damn good, man, especially the music part of it. But it's not a number one hit. You know, it sounds like something that could have possibly fit right in with what the 10,000 Volt album is. You know, after they done some polishing on it. You know, especially with the vocals, but the music sounded fine. The music sounded just like you were listening to 10,000 Volts, if you ask me. But it wasn't bad. I didn't think. I mean, it was actually enjoyable somewhat to listen to. I listened to it like 3 or 4 times. You know, if I do something like that, then there's something I'm trying to catch, or I like it okay, you know. But I've heard way better, and I've heard a hell of a lot worse. You know, so in my opinion, it could have been on the album, and it would have fit right in. You know, if that's the opinion, you know, that you're looking for from me for the song, I don't think it was bad at all. I mean, it's a hell of a lot better than a lot of things, like I said, we've heard. So. And not as good as a lot of things I've heard. So it's like to sum it up, it sounds like it probably would be a filler, maybe, but a good one. You know, not a throwaway to me. So that would be my opinion on the song itself.
Okay. Where I stand on this, and of course, I just asked you before we hit air, because I'd never really asked you your opinion of the album 10,000 Volts, and I know you said you really liked it.
Yeah,
I don't know how much before we hooked up to do this project. You watched on my old videos. I did a breakdown of that album. No secret, I do not
Yeah.
Yeah, I do not like the album. There are a few really strong songs that surprised me. However, in typical record company or artist fashion, they didn't release any of those as singles. Uh, Cherry Medicine and Walking on the Moon, in particular, to me are so Bush League amateur and boring compared to some of the other tracks they could have chosen for releases on here. But this song, like you said, fits right in. It's like he had an ear in the studio with the vibe that Ace and Steve Brown were going with.
Yeah.
However, I like this more. And I'll tell you why. I'm not sucking up to Peppy Castro and being starstruck that, somebody with clout reached out to me.
Yeah.
The first thing I noticed immediately, until the solo, this is a completely new distortion sound for Ace.
Yes.
It sounds more like a hair metal awesome distortion versus just a Les Paul, rock crunch channel, through a Marshall. It was like, holy shit, I really haven't heard Ace do anything other than that Kiss guitar sound since early Frehley's Comet. So that was refreshing for me right from the jump. I'm not a huge Frehley vocalist fan, but I thought he did very well on this song and better than most of the songs on that album. I still think, I don't know where he picked this up, but he's really over enunciating words here and there. It is what it is. Maybe it's just how his voice has evolved, or maybe it's a new style he picked up.
Yeah.
But that being said, it's a decent song. I'm not a huge Ace fan, and my favorite Ace Frehley written and performed songs were sung by Todd Howarth, not Ace Frehley.
Okay.
So the bottom line here is I love the chorus. At first, I was like, that's odd. That's peculiar. That's a peculiar timing with the way the words are being sung and stuff. But halfway through, I'm like, I think I kind of like it. So I had this sucker on a loop. I was playing it. And I even played it for my wife, who outside of, New York groove, can't stand Ace, can't stand his voice. She likes 2000 Man, and she even said that's a good song.
Yeah.
So again, we're not putting this up there with a vocalist like Paul Stanley or Robert Plant or something like that. Ace Frehley's never gonna have. I don't care who writes it, as long as he's the singer. It will never be a 10 out of 10 song because his voice just isn't lead vocalist material, in my opinion. He's got no range. It never really changes. That being said, I think he did an outstanding job on this. Is it my favorite Frehley song sung by Ace? No, probably not. But it definitely ranks up there over half of his 78 solo album for me.
Well, one thing that I will say,
maybe because he's not droning on singing about being high. Maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know.
yeah. One thing I will say is you mentioned, how he sung it. That was what jumped out to me first and foremost, and basically why I kept re-listening to it, because at first I was trying to figure out. Well, I knew it was Ace, but I've never heard Ace kind of sound that way, and I'm sure that the way they recorded it, like that's why it sounded that way. Like I said, because if they would have put it on the album, it would have sounded like him on the 10,000 Volts album. But if that was the outtake or whatever, I liked how he sounded because his voice and the lyrics wasn't overbearing over the music. It was kind of the background of the music.
Yeah.
It just blended right in with what he was doing.
And I think that's where he needs to live with his voice. The last thing he wants to do is try to be Paul Stanley in his prime, or like I said, Robert Plant or Gary Cherone or any of these great singers. He's never going to steal the show by showing off his voice. He wants to let the groove, that Ace Frehley groove, do the talking. So if he insists on singing, I like the mix on this. Not that it couldn't be, better done in a full studio setup, whatever. But I like like you said, where the volume was of the vocals almost even with the music, instead of like a Paul Stanley song the voice is so much more powerful over the music.
Yeah.
I think that was a good call. Whether it was on purpose or not, I don't know, but it definitely, to me, was a smart choice or happy accident.
And maybe Ace will get wind of this and pay attention to that and maybe try that in the future. You know what I mean? Because look, man, there's different ways of coming at people with vocals, man. And sometimes it's really good, sometimes it's not. In my opinion, I want to hear the vocals, but I don't want the music to drown out the vocals to the point to where I'm trying to get up there and hear, man. But I do want the music to be the power behind the vocals. I don't want the vocals to be too loud and the music too low. I'd rather have the vocals a little bit behind the music, in my opinion. Now, that's the way I like it, because if you get too much vocal and not enough music, man, it's like, damn, you know, and I've heard
And
that.
that's a good, the way you phrase that is a good explanation of what really bothers, aside from the cheesy video and lyrics and the typical Space Ace, you know, topic of walking on the moon. For someone who doesn't have that Steven Tyler, you know, dominant vocal, his voice is so overpowering mix wise. I mean, it's everything he's doing. It's like the music is just somewhere in the background. And he's just whining. I mean, and maybe that's why I don't care for that album so much, because his voice should not be front and center. If he's going to be the lead singer, it should blend.
Especially at this age. You know, I mean, think about it. That's a lesson to learn from any of these guys that's out here still doing that. If you don't got it like you used to, just, hey, you don't have to think you got to be that guy, you know, that's got to be, you know, but long as the crowd hears and understands, they're going to know the song, for God's sakes, you know, unless it's something brand new you just done. And see, like me, I like the Cherry Medicine, okay, and I like Walking on the Moon. I love the cheesy, stereotypical Ace, you know, because you know you're going to get something with space.
Yeah.
I love the album.
Yeah.
That damn thing. Whoever done that album cover is fucking killer, man. See, I love
the album
cover.
That album cover is awesome artwork. I'll give that to him. That's a 10 out of 10, man. That's something right out of a Kiss artwork catalog.
That's representation. I just wish that he had access to his makeup and maybe could have had that on there. Not, you didn't have to have your outfit on or nothing. Wearing what he's got on, or maybe half his makeup. I mean, I just don't understand. Damn, man. You know, Kiss is over with. Well, you know, give them back their damn rights to their fucking makeup, dude. Dang. But anyway,
what are they gonna do with it, really? I mean, other than get royalties off of whatever this Avatar company's doing.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point in time, Peter's not doing anything. I mean, and Ace, I mean, he's going to continue to do his, you know, his little, you know, club tours or whatever and put albums out. But he more or less does this just for some extra chump change and something to do because he's bored.
Yeah, about 6 months ago, maybe you know how fast time goes, dude. Maybe it's a little longer. Peter Criss was in Charlotte. You know, he was doing his, he was playing a little bit, you know. He was doing his, you know, signing, autograph, bring a couple things, tour, take a photo, you know, kind of a meet and greet thing down in Charlotte at a mall, one of them big malls down there. And one of my friends went and got his autograph on a couple of things, you know, and he went, my friend drove to Orlando here a while back and went and seen Ace's tour right here about a month or so ago down in Orlando, and paid to meet Ace and got him to sign a couple of things. He even got me one of the albums signed, but I hadn't seen him, you know, yet. He lives in South Carolina. I'm like, damn, bro. I said, you going to try like Ace is going to be around here sooner or later, man. Y'all going to go to fucking Florida? Shit, man. You know, hell.
Have you ever done an Ace meet and greet?
I've only done one, and it wasn't really a meet and greet. It was the very first year. I see this was 2005. 2005, I think the Kiss Coffee Shop opened up at Myrtle Beach in 2004. I think 2005 was the 1 year anniversary, and he was there. And I've got the poster here somewhere where he signed it. It's a fluorescent black light poster with their solo faces on it, and it's a black light poster. He signed under his picture on it. And I got a shirt, which I'll pull out when we start showing our stuff or whatever, and talking about it and stuff. That I bought a shirt. It says, Kiss Coffee Shop, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, on it. He signed it. And it was just, man, love you, dude. And he, shook hands. And they told us, when we was going in, just don't get into, big of a conversation. It got along the line here. Just, say a couple words. He'll sign a couple things. And that's just just try to keep the line, moving, because there was a lot of funky people there. And the Kiss tribute band played that night. And I can't remember the name of the daggum band. There's so many of them. I saw one of them in Asheville called Kiss Army, but I can't remember the name of this one. They were really, really good. And Ace pulled a surprise on them and came out there and got the Ace's on stage guitar, which was a Les Paul Gibson Sunburst, and sung Shock Me. And I don't know what in the hell I done with those videos. This is back when this was the flip phone video too, bro. Or no, it might have been my video camera. But anyway, I've got to look that up. I got to go through my videos and my damn cards and shit and find that, because we were right there, man. And I mean, it wasn't no stadium crowd or nothing. This is, it's on the beach, right out there and stuff. But there was a lot of people there, and we got to talk to the guys in the band after Ace had went off stage and everything. That the show was over with, and we're sitting right there asking him, and the guy, he was like, "Man, we didn't see that coming." He just pulled that out of a wimp, man. We had no idea. He come out there and done shocked me with him, and the other Ace, he hung back, man, checking it out, and then he gave him his guitar back after that, and they went out there and started jamming again. So I mean, it was really cool, man. I mean, it's just, I would have loved to have had time with him, and I'm sure stuff like that you're going to have to. But he wasn't charging anybody to do that. All you had to do was buy the stuff from the coffee shop, the poster, the T-shirt. Hell, I got the damn coffee mugs and all kind of stuff from there, man. And he signed it, So he really didn't have much to complain. It wasn't no $200 or $300, $400. It wasn't nothing to do that. So it was kind of cool, man. And but
the reason I asked, go ahead.
Oh no, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Okay. The reason I asked is because there was a comment on one of our videos recently where someone was, expressing their disappointment with meeting Ace in a meet and greet. According to this person, signed the shit, didn't even look up at him, didn't say hello back, not a smile, not anything. And I get what you're saying. I've heard that argument forever, especially before the paid backstage passes to where you can get the number of people down because you got to pay an outlandish amount of money. You got to keep the line moving. That's why that bullshit has never appealed to me. Back in the old days, I've been through one meet and greet line, and that was for Extreme. And that's only because I wanted to basically finish off their autographs, because we had already spent like an hour with them at a hotel before the meet and greet. So I was good. But I would never pay for an autograph, ever. And I understand to an extent why musicians, actors, whoever is doing that, because people are just using the signatures to go out and fucking sell them on eBay or whatever. Athletes, same thing. I get it. But at the end of the day, for me, and this is just me, people, I'm not knocking any of you who are autograph collectors. My brother's a big autograph collector. I just, it's a fucking signature, man. At the end of the day, I've never, since I was a young kid, looked at anybody in the celebrity status. I don't care if they're the president of the United States. I don't care if they're a Hollywood, star, the greatest musician of all time, the greatest baseball, football player. They're just fucking people. I've always had that sense of reality. And to me, somebody signing a fucking piece of paper, I'm not giving you $1, let alone fucking $500, or some of these fuckers like Kiss, $5,000. I don't give a shit what includes in the package. To me, paying somebody for their attention is like going to a prostitute instead of getting a real chick.
Yeah, man.
I understand people do it, and I don't knock them. I want to make that clear. For me, I don't pay for any attention. I don't pay for anybody's chat time. I don't pay for a fucking autograph. If you want to someday come on my podcast, I'm not paying you. I don't believe in that. Everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time, assuming they have two legs. And yes, I respect the hell out of what you're doing. I may look up to you. In Paul's case, I may idolize your image and your voice, but I'm still rational enough to realize you're no different than I am. Your shit stinks just like mine does. However, all of that long explanation said about understanding, keeping the line moving, if you can't even fucking look up and smile at the person when they hand you their shit, if that's true, that's about as fucking low as it comes, and get the fuck out. Don't even do the damn signing then, if that's the way you are.
And a lot of times you can take people's word, but a lot of times you don't know if that really happened or not. Now, he did say,
right.
He did acknowledge me. He did acknowledge people. I was looking at him before I got there and stuff. And, that's, you could say something to him, whatever, man. I mean, I love this. That's my favorite dude, blah, blah. And he did, shaking hands, stuff like that. He shook my hand, and I appreciate it, bro. Just like it right there. That's cool, man. I just, it's not no big deal to me, man. I don't expect much. And I'm like you. I'm not going to pay hundreds of dollars to go back there. And, if I'm going to pay money to meet somebody, I don't give a damn if I was rich, which I'm far from it. I'm nowhere near it. But if I'm going to pay money, it's going to take out of my damn wallet that's going to cost me down the road or whatever to meet somebody. That money's going to be paid where I can sit down and just talk to this person. I'm not doing the cattle herd thing. And the only reason I done that is because we was there. Hell, we didn't know he was going to be there. This was news that spread around and on the radio station and stuff when we was at the beach. It wasn't planned. And I'm like, well, fuck, we're going to go, I'm going there. Anybody wants to go, let's go, but I'm going. And look, I can say I didn't pay anything for it, but, by paying for it, we had to purchase some merchandise or whatever like that. Now,
that's different. That's different.
Yeah.
As long as you're not asking someone to buy your $500 box set or something, I mean, I'm cool with that.
No.
That prevents average Joe, who really doesn't care about you, from just grabbing something to get signed and sell it. To an extent, that can help curb that. If you got to buy someone's CD or their poster or their $30 T-shirt, I don't care about that. You just don't think I'm paying you just for the goddamn signature. That's where I'm at.
No. And if I would have had to stand in line for 4 hours or something like that, I wouldn't have been there either, man. I wouldn't have waited that long. So the shirt was like $10. The damn poster was like $10. I mean, yeah, man. I got the cheapest shirt there, white, so you could actually see the damn autograph, and
right.
Got that black light poster, man. And that's worth that to me, and I don't have to be here all day. So yeah, man, and you're going to have that, man. People, you got to understand, these are people too. Like you said, when we're kids, we look at them a whole different way. They're inhuman. They're not real. They're going to. If I ever meet them, they're going to fulfill my wildest dreams. But when you get older, most people come to the reasonable sensibility that. And they find out. Yeah, most people. That's why I said that. what do you think he's going to do, bro? You think he's going to take you back for a beer and a line, bro? I mean, and he's going to pick you out.
You're never gonna be friends. I mean, that's what say the hypothetical, and I'm sure it can be more and it can be less. There's 100 people that day standing in line for a meet and greet, whether it's paid for or not.
Yeah.
What makes you think you're gonna be the one that sticks in his memory, that changes his or her life?
Yes.
You're not.
And another thing,
You got to realize you're doing this solely for you. Don't go inspecting like you're going to make an impact on them. These people meet people in the streets, in the restaurants, everywhere they go. They're bombarded by people. It's like trying to pick a needle out of a haystack when you're at one of those signings. I can only imagine. You're not. I mean, in my case, Nuno and Gary recognized me in the line because I spent an hour with them at the hotel and hanging out face to face. So 2 hours later, when we get to the mall and go through the signing, hey, how's it going? I mean, that you're going to, because we spent quality time. And there's some of these guys I hear from the KISS crews, Cicchini being one of them. They pay their $5-6 or whatever it is to go on these cruises every year. So they do get a familiarity, so they will recognize these people if you're willing to pay that kind of money to get that kind of quality time. I'm just not. I searched it out in my teens, in my 20s, by going hotel to hotel, looking for the buses, walking around through the hotels, the hallways, the parking lots, whatever it took to meet the guys and talk to them for 10 minutes. And I rarely ever asked for an autograph because I didn't care about that. I wanted the interaction. I wanted to know they were talking to me because they chose to, instead of they agreed to with the record label and sat down and gave 100 people the same exact fucking opportunity. Whether they could have just said, get the fuck out of my hotel, get out of my way, whatever. But if they stopped and spent time with me, that's because they chose to. That means a lot more to me than a paycheck for signature or even a free autograph signing session would ever mean, because it's not for you. They're not taking the time for you. They're doing it out of obligation. Like I said, to the record label, to the venue, to whatever. You're just one of however many.
And another thing, you're not holding on to this and this, man. Those are going to be the ones they take to do personal things with, because and this didn't happen, so don't take me wrong. When we went to the not to get off topic, just a little short story here. We went to the KISS farewell tour in Charlotte, the old Coliseum. They built a newer one where the Charlotte Hornets played. It's fucking huge, man. Well, it's not there anymore because the dumbasses had to tear it down and build one right downtown in the middle of the damn city. That was fucking stupid. But anyway, I won't get on that tirade. But it was an awesome place. The smoking area, when you went outside, it was a huge smoking area on the second level, with walls blocking you in, but they were tall enough where you could look over the walls. That's where the buses were, right under the damn smoking area. And Gene and Shannon Tweed got off the bus, and I said, this was when their kids was young. They got up, went out there and was running around in the grass, under the trees, and stuff like that. I hollered, "Hey, Gene!" And he looked up like that and throwed his hand up like that, and they kept walking. But it pissed me off. This is where I really got pissed off at Ace. Ace, nobody knew that he was there until I looked straight down. There was a guy sitting on the sidewalk right under us, and he was on a cell phone like it's right here with his head down. And you could see his shoes. He had a red sneaker and a freaking orange sneaker, bro.
Come on.
We was all hollering at him, man. He was right down there. But not one time did he take his ear off that phone and look up, do this or nothing. He never even acknowledges. So the guy may be right. But anyway, Skid Row opened up for them on that tour, and Ted Nugent. Yeah. Well, my niece and my ex-fiance and a couple other women that are girls, whatever, went with us. They got around to the side there, because back then you could do that. And dude, they vanished. You know, one of them came back and said, "Hey, we're hanging out with Skid Row." Man, they went and hung out with Skid Row before the damn show. They were on the bus with them. They were, give them some shots. They got pictures with them. I got the pictures. I'll show you one day. They give them front row tickets. And they were like, "Well, I wanted to fuck me. You go, you get them damn tickets. You get those damn pictures. Don't worry about me. Go. Get your hands on everything you can get on." I'm not jealous. I'm not that dude. I'm not, I know you ain't gonna be doing anything stupid or nothing like that, I mean, with her, I knew that. So, and the rest of them, but they did. They said, and they were cool as shit, dude. They got their pictures.
I cannot believe.
Yeah, man, and because they were chicks. You see, I mean,
Well, sure, but what I'm saying is I can't believe Ace was still doing the red orange sneaker bit.
Yeah, I couldn't either. That's how I recognized him, because you never seen his face. I said, that fucking guy's got a red sneaker and an orange sneaker on. That is Ace. That is Ace right there. Right before you went under the Coliseum, he was on the sidewalk on the phone. Gene walked off the bus not far from him and Shannon, and the kids was out running around playing. And dude, it was just kind of a realistic moment, the way it was set up. You could actually go back there and see the vans getting off the bus. If they was out there hanging out, doing anything, holler at them and stuff, man. I mean, but it's that new one's shit compared to that one. But yeah, man.
How the hell? How in modern times do you even find a red or orange sneaker? I get the 70s, right, where the bit was created. How the hell do you? I don't see colored shoes other than a stripe or a colored shoelaces or something, or.
Oh,
he
man,
must have that shit specially made, or maybe out in California where everybody's kind of a little nuts. I don't know.
They're everywhere now, man. They're every color and freaking, yeah, man. I mean, and I actually like them, I have to say. But he had the old look like Converses,
Yeah.
And I'm sure, yeah, he's picked up a new pair since 70.
Yeah, I guess Converse, because I did a little skateboarding in the 80s and Converse was all the rage. And mine were red, so I guess maybe if you're buying the canvas shoes, they still come solid colors. I always just get, your typical leather black shoes. But
the white tips on them, and the white bottoms.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, it ain't gonna hurt him to buy two kinds of shoes and just wear one each, so there you go. And yeah, it was funny. He was holding on to that,
Okay,
but
well, let's dovetail back into this.
Yeah.
What do you think about the situation? Can you see? I mean, I certainly can, knowing Ace's history, with his lack of professionalism and his laziness. Who do you have a side? Obviously, none of us know, but where do you lean on how much Ace contributed versus Trickster's Steve Brown to this album? And do you think Ace played the guitars on this, or maybe just the solos? Not this Venus song. Just 10,000 volts overall.
Oh well, it's hard to say. You can give somebody Ace's guitar and sound, and they can play it in the studio just like he can. I'm hoping he did. He's having to play it live, but I could tell.
Yeah, but have you seen him? Have you seen him try to play it live? His first performance, you can find it on YouTube. I actually did this on one of my videos and put the video on there.
Mm-hmm.
That motherfucker didn't know his own song, vocally or guitar-wise. He would literally stop singing and back away from the mic, not during the chorus, in the verse, because he was so concentrated on where to put his hands next. I mean, so either he's completely deteriorated or he was completely unfamiliar with this music, which would then lend credence to the fact that he didn't even fucking play this shit or write it.
That's a possibility.
He just sang.
And I agree. And he may, and another thing you can account for that. Hell, if it was one of the first tours, like you said, he may have not played it enough to memorize it yet. Now,
Because you
maybe,
never rehearsed.
yeah, I mean, you have to rehearse. You know, you got to be professional when you do that. You got to know what you're playing, and you got to know what's next. You know, I understand everybody forgets a lyric or something once in a while, bro. You know, that's happened to all of us. I mean, but know your shit. Know your set list, bro. You know, I mean, you've got to do that. Now, I haven't pulled anything up and watched anything except for what my friend sent me when he was in Orlando. You know, seeing him, which what I could tell was pretty damn good. You know, but there was nothing like I didn't get to see anything like that. But that's interesting. I'll pull that up since you said that. But maybe this far into it, I mean, damn, bro, you know, the work ethic, man. See, Ace, you have to have somebody over somebody like that. You know, because
And then they had the nerve to bitch at Gene and Paul. I mean, we're talking 1975, 76 Destroyer sessions, and they had to reel him in to get his ass to the studio.
yeah, and that pissed me off big time because, bro, you just now made it big. Okay, you know this, y'all. All this shit y'all been doing. I mean, we'll get into the stories, man, because I love the first 3 album stories better than any of them. But you know, Alive put you. This is your first studio album since y'all have tasted real success. You mean to tell me that you can play cards with your fucking buddies any fucking time? Okay, you know, hey, I'm sure they're going to understand. Okay.
Yeah.
And if they don't, fuck them. They're not friends. All right. But you got a job to do, bro. I mean, a serious job. And I will agree with Gene with this, even though he about fucking screwed himself up in the 80s with this. This happens once in a lifetime, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Once. Don't fuck it.
And that's for any band. That's for any fucking band. That's
Exactly.
Skid Row, that's Warrant, that's
Yeah.
Rat, that's Motley Crue, that's anybody.
Yeah.
Like, you have any idea how many of these fucking hair metal bands or regular metal bands or speed metal bands or whatever, LA and New York were flooded with these motherfuckers. Just because they say, well, the market was oversaturated and that's what killed it. Okay, oversaturated. That oversaturation was like probably 2% of the possible bands that wanted to make it. So
man,
it's like hitting the fucking lottery if you're able to fucking get a gold or platinum album and get signed to a multi-album deal and become famous. That's the golden rule. You will never be famous. That's one thing I would always preach home to my kids. Don't be stupid. A lot of this is not how good you are or how much schooling you have. And that's in anything. That's being a scientist, that's being a politician. It's more 9 out of 10 times about who you know and right place, right time.
Right place,
you can
right
work
time.
Yeah, you can work your fucking ass off and be the greatest. You don't think there's people sitting at home, I watch them on YouTube all the time, that could play circles around half of these fucking legendary guitars? Doesn't matter. They weren't in the right place, the right time. They didn't know the right people. They didn't have the right look. Whatever it was, you can't just be successful because you want to be. And that's what always pissed me off with Paul and Gene. Oh, you can set your mind to something. You can do anything you want. No, you fucking can't. Be realistic. Set realistic goals. And if something bigger happens, great. But telling someone that if they work as hard as you did, they can be the next Kiss, fuck off. It's just not going to happen.
No, you can say that now. Y'all can say that because
they made it.
You've done that. And guess what?
Yeah.
You guys had to be at the right place, right time. Bill Coyne had to be there at the right place at the right time. Humphrey Bogart
and be
had
patient
to be
enough
there and take a chance on that.
And that's a good point. That's a good point. It ain't so much Kiss's image, persona, talent, whatever you want to call it. How about having somebody who owns a record label willing to go fucking bankrupt, taking a chance on you?
Yes.
How many other record companies owners are going to fucking use their own personal fucking credit cards to finance your fucking album? If they didn't have Bill Coyne, Kiss is done and over before the fucking second album even gets released.
Yeah, man, because they don't have no money. If he
No.
backs out, you know, you might get lucky if at best, and maybe somebody else will take a chance on you. But
Nobody wanted
what
him.
if they don't?
Nobody would take him serious. There were several bands or promoters that would only sign on if they got rid of the makeup, and a coin said, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah, man. Yeah.
No one was taking him seriously, but that operation that they fell into. So don't give me that you don't have to show up for fucking rehearsals or to cut your fucking tracks on a fucking album because you made it. Motherfucker, see, that's my problem with all the Ace purists who love him and defend him to the death. And I get your frustration with Paul and Gene. I can imagine how hard they are to work for, being workaholics and perfectionists and dictators. I get it. But Ace, for the love of God, how can people defend somebody who gave two shits about his craft, gave two shits about the band, would rather fucking party because he made it and thought he didn't have to fucking work anymore?
Oh, yeah.
How can you defend that? How can you fucking defend that?
Bill a coin gets them into the Academy of Music concert. You know, on their first album now, they're one of the early bands. They're playing in the daytime. You know, this is when their first album had just come out. And Peter said it was hot as hell. He said Gene was running around in that leather, sweating his ass off, playing his ass off. Paul was up in the air, man, running his ass off, playing his ass off, sweating like pigs. I was beating my drums. I had two little bitty fans on me. Just sweat. Our makeup was damn near coming off. We were playing our ass off. And Ace, toward the end, before they went off to come back and do an encore, Ace sat down on the fucking stage and was playing. When they got backstage, before they come back from the encore, Peter reamed his ass out, said, "You lazy son of a bitch. If you better fucking go out there and kick ass on this encore." I said, "Me, Gene, Paul are out here sweating our balls off, playing our asses off, them running all over the place, and you fucking have the fucking tenacity to sit on your lazy ass." He said, "You've been lazy this whole fucking time." He said, "You wouldn't even help load the fucking equipment when we was going to clubs." And Ace didn't. He didn't help them unload the equipment.
Nope.
They had to load his shit.
No.
Okay? And another thing, and when he said, "You've always been lazy because you wouldn't help," and when he got about that far, a glass orange juice thing went by Peter's head and hit the damn wall where Ace threw the fucking orange juice thing at his head, and luckily it missed. And Peter hit him and knocked his ass down on the damn ground. And after the show, Ace said, "Hey man, you know, come with me, man, ride with me, man." And they got talking. He said, "You know, you're a hell of a man, Peter. You know, I give you that." And he said, "You are too, Ace." He said, "But you know, if you'd have hit me with that, you could have killed me, you son of a bitch." It's funny. I started laughing like hell, and you will too when you listen to it. He said, "There's sobbing
But you
each
know-
other going like two damn chicks, man." I'm like, damn, man. You know, but damn, bro.
But that's another good point. These blue Kool-Aid drinking fans. Well, that's part of his charm. That's Ace being a rock star. First of all, where is this fucking handbook, this user's guide to being a rock star? Because the last time I checked, being a rock star meant working your ass off, not being a lazy fuck he bought way too much into the rock and roll drugs and sex, drugs and rock and roll, whatever you want to say, and thought that's what a rock star was. No, those were the perks that a rock star got by busting their ass.
Yes. Hey.
I mean, look at Motley Crue. Motley Crue are the biggest group of social fuck-ups on the planet, but they never, ever fucked off on getting these fucking albums done. On stage, sure, I wasn't the biggest Crue fan. I couldn't stand in their later days having two chicks come out and dance while they sat backstage and took a pizza break or whatever. But on stage, they were performing. And Ace can slumber around all lethargic, like, "Oh, that's Space Ace. That's part of his character." No, motherfucker, that's someone who's got no energy, no drive. And it just happened to work with the gimmick of the spaceman, so he went with it. Do not kid yourself. Anybody else who had put that makeup on would have not been the Ace just standing there. I mean, once in a while in the old days, he'd do the bending back, but his fun stuff was only during his time, his solo time. Other than that, watch these concerts. You're seeing Paul and Gene, the Destroyer era, even before that, with these big boots on, jumping in the fucking air, running around this. Where's Ace? Ace is just slumbering around.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be part of his charm. No, it's not. He's a lazy guy. He always has been. He's what my mom would call a schlubba.
Well, you know, people from Jandale, man, they're lazy. You know, I mean, that's one of their, that's my excuse right there, man. No, look, that's why I said I'm not going to take up for them, man. I don't give a fuck how much I love them when they screw up and when they do. And you're going to have the tenacity to sit down. You're getting ready to go off stage and have to come back and do an encore. You mean to tell me you can't stand up for fucking 5, 10 fucking more minutes, bro? Oh, I'd have been mad as hell too, you know.
Oh yeah.
But I won't get off on too much of that. But yeah, man. Now the album, let's get back to that.
Yes.
I know that's Ace playing the lead on this song here because Ace has got that. You know, he's got
this fucking solo.
You know,
the solo on this Venus with a Whip is fucking right out of 1970 fucking 5. I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's Ace's signature sound. Every great guitarist, I know he's a lazy bastard, and I know he's a fuck up in a lot of ways. But that sound that's Ace, man, and that's and the reason I love Ace is because of how he played and what he played. I mean, and I just love that stupid, goofy. You know, I don't like the lazy, but bastard that is a fuck up. But yeah, he can still get it done no matter how many whips are cracked. But that's not showing up shit. No. That's not something to be proud of at all. And it's damn sure something to be reprimanded for, as far as, being put down for, not reprimanded. That's the other way around. But that's something that, you have to, man. And thank God Bob Ezrin was the producer of that album. And I'm not saying that to stick it in Ace's ass. I'm saying it because Bob just showed him, hey, you think you have to be here? Dude.
Yeah.
I can call 10 or 15 guys at any point in time, and they'll bust their ass to get in here to play on a fucking album because they're great guitarists, but they never had the luck and the damn, being at the right place, right time, whatever you want to call it, to fucking have a position where they could even be on a fucking album.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
So, man, yeah.
Back to the song. Like I said, I like it. I think more than you do. You like it fair. I think it's really good considering I'm not an Ace guy. That says a lot. Now understand where we're coming from. You're way more of an Ace music fan than I. We just did Frehley's solo album, and you put it up here, and I put it like here. I think it's good. I think it's a solid album. I just don't think it really lives up to the praise it gets from the Kiss fans, or at least the Ace Frehley fans. And that's just my opinion. That's how it hits me. But as a non-Ace guy, and I'm not saying I hate Ace. I love Ace. I love everything Ace brought to the band, but I was a Paul guy, right? I'm more into vocals than I am guitar. So for me to really enjoy this song when I really didn't enjoy 10,000 Volts, that means maybe Steve Brown, for me, wasn't the guy to do the album, or at least should have brought in. It reminds me a lot, if everything played out like has been documented and told, it reminds me of Paul and his obsession that he had to have full control over everything, including producing Monster and Sonic Boom. Imagine how much better they would have been. And I'm not saying you have to get Ezrin or somebody, but just look at all the great producers they've had. Eddie Kramer, Michael James Jackson, these guys, Vinnie Poncia. I mean, they've had so many great sounding albums and a lot of songs that got said by the producer, no, yes. when you yourself, in this case, maybe Ace or Steve Brown, have full creative control of how it sounds and what songs make it, it's a recipe for fucking either complete success or complete fucking disaster. There's no in between, because track 1 through whatever are all going to be cookie cutter of each other. Sound, feel, vibe, and that's what we got with 10,000 Volts. Like I said, a couple of songs really stood out for me. I can't remember the names anymore, because even though I really enjoyed them, they weren't good enough to be on my playlist. But that whole album had the same overall vibe for me. And I know a lot of people like that, especially you AC/DC hardcores. I don't like that. That's why Kiss, I think, is so huge to me in my whole life, because on any given album, you could find 3 or 4 different genres of music. So if they go with this theme and you don't like that theme, now you don't like the whole fucking album. And this song, this Venus with a Whip, like I said, to start this whole thing, the fact that Ace Frehley was playing a regular metal distortion versus the classic rock sounding guitar was fucking huge. And he didn't stray off with whammy bars and fingerboarding and the Eddie Van Halen tone solos. He kept his crunches and his bends and his classic Les Paul sound. But nothing says you can't combine the two. And I really, unless I'm nuts, and I've listened to this thing at least a dozen times, that stands out to me every time. The solo guitar tone and effect, or lack of effect, is Kiss. And then the rest of the rhythm work is hair metal. And it's a magical combination for me. It just works.
Well, I will say this. I like the song. I mean, maybe I need to listen to it a little bit more, but I found nothing wrong with it. And you mentioned the sound distortion guy. I wish the whole, and I like the album. I mean, I'm not in love with it, but I think it's a great album to me. I like pretty much almost every song on there. Now there's some I like better than others, just like everything else. I wish they would have recorded the album like that was recorded, because more distortion to me is better. That's why I love Hot in Hell so much. I love that gritty, grimy, just fucking vibrates you down bones and shit. You know, that I love that. You know, it may be coming home.
I think that's
a bit too much distorted, but the rest of it, you know, but yeah, I think it's, you know.
But I think that's why I love non-makeup Kiss so much more, because I preferred the sound of a Rat distortion rhythm guitar, or a Jakey Lee on, you know, Ozzy Osbourne's No More, or what is it called? Freaking Ultimate Sin. I prefer that
Bark at the Moon,
smooth, low end fucking metal distortion.
Yes.
I prefer that over the clean AC/DC 70s Kiss crunch Led Zeppelin sound. I like them both. I just prefer what the sound was of the 80s metal more. It doesn't mean I like all these 80s hair bands better than 70s Kiss. It just means if you're going to give me my favorite vocalist, Paul Stanley, and now give him a fucking guitarist like Vinnie Vincent or Bruce Kulick with that sound, now I'm in heaven. Because now my day is complete. I got my favorite guitar sound with my favorite singer.
You think, you know, Paul Stanley, or maybe somebody would say, Paul's guitar, now I do love it because it is unique. I don't know if I've ever heard a rhythm guitar like his. I mean, his rhythm live, especially, and even in some of the studio songs, is really, really dirty, really dirty sounding rhythm that he's got. And I just wonder why. Maybe he didn't try to change that up a little bit, you know. I mean, I don't know how to explain the sound to his rhythm. It's totally different than any other rhythm that I've ever heard. And it's almost like it's not loud enough. I mean, I don't, it's hard to explain. You just have to listen to some
I
of that
think
stuff he does when nobody else is playing. Okay. But I love the 80s, like you said, that heavy, just, oh man, dude. It's like if you didn't stop if you strummed it and you didn't put your hands on it, man, it would carry forever. Man, till you
well
stop it, dude.
a good
Just,
a good point. A good point of that is, look, we both absolutely love the production on Creatures of the Night. All
oh
right.
God.
Obviously, this album is legendary for the drum sound, but what gets extremely overlooked is the dark metal rhythm guitars and Vinny's or whoever in the studio at the time, that guitar tone. If I was to say if someone were to tell me you could have a band and get signed tomorrow and you could play like any sound or any guitarist, it would be the collection of the guitarists who played on Creatures. That sound, that tone coming out of those fucking amps is absolute music to my ears. Now imagine Creatures of the Night. You can keep the drum production, but you replace the guitar sounds with Ace Frehley and 70s Kiss rhythm guitars. It don't
Wow.
fucking work.
Wow.
It would not work.
I don't know. I would love to just hear that, and which I know we're probably never going to. But look, can you capture that live? You see,
No, you can't.
that's
They should be able to capture the guitar tone because that's all
yeah,
in the pedals. But you'll never capture that drum sound. With the description I had read at one point in time, I mean, they had drums down hallways with pillows and shit, getting this thing mic'd all the way down hallways to get that thunderous, echoey sound. Obviously, nowadays maybe you could with the progression of technology, and I don't know. I'm not a musician anymore. I don't
yeah,
keep up with that shit. But the arena would have a lot to say about that, right? What's the acoustics like in the arena? Is there too much echo in this arena or whatever? It would be a pain in the ass. But that guitar tone, I can't see Ace Frehley soloing working with that crunch Les Paul Marshall sound. It just the solos in those dark songs sing so melodic, and that's one thing. As great as Ace was, he was not a melodic guitar player. It took Bob Ezrin to write that solo for Detroit Rock City for Kiss to finally show you a melodic solo.
I would, yeah. And there's nothing I'd change about Creatures at all. Nothing,
No,
absolutely nothing. But it would be interesting to hear those solos that are already there played with Paul and Ace's and Gene's 70s bass rhythm and lead, just
it would
just for
it would definitely
just
be
for
interesting.
test purposes.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, yeah. I mean, either
I mean,
way,
you could do that with anything, though. You could say, okay, boy, I would love to hear what Back in Black and Thunderstruck sounded like if Bon Scott was the singer. I mean,
oh
you can
man,
play that game all day. You could
yeah,
play
you
that game
can.
all day with every band. So
We could, woulda, coulda,
it
shoulda.
is,
I do that a lot.
yeah, yeah.
But hey, it's just reality, you know.
Yeah.
And what's the word with this? Well, you don't know anything yet. I was going to ask you, about the guy or whatever that contacted you,
Castro.
yeah,
Oh, the Scott.
yeah. I just wonder
Which one? Yep.
what the odds would be of him, the one that allowed you this song. Are you going
Okay,
to?
Peppy Castro.
Yeah, yeah.
I told him I would give him a link when I had this done.
Okay.
And see so he can see how it goes. If he comes back at me, I put it this way, I don't think he'd watch past the topic we had of his. If he is still watching at this point, if you would like to come on and just shoot the shit about me, we don't have to put you on the spot about Ace and Steve Brown. I would love to just talk about the music business and what you've experienced, and it would totally be under your discretion, your rules, your guidelines, whatever. So yeah,
Yeah.
you got an open invitation from me and Scott, man. Anytime you want to come on, I know we're a nothing happening, small time, just getting started podcast, but we respect the hell out of music, and even, you know, bands we don't like, we respect what it took to accomplish what they accomplished. And
Yes.
we'd love to just hear some of your stories.
And you wouldn't get no bullshit. We're
No.
not
In fact,
we're not
I read an article.
you
I
know,
read an interview with him in doing my research, and he gives an incredible, hilarious story during Paul Stanley's solo album time of just guys, him and Paul and a few other guys just hanging out and raising hell in an apartment. It was just freaking hilarious. I love that shit because you
Oh, I
get
do
to
too.
see what these celebrities are like in real life, and you get to
Yeah.
hear the stories. I love that shit. I love that shit.
It's like a biography to me, man. But
Yeah,
unsolicited. You know.
right, right.
But the main thing would be like, dude, if there's anything you don't want to be asked or talk about, just let it, let us know up front, man. You know, because I
Yep,
respect anybody that, I understand. Yeah.
yep,
So
absolutely. Okay, well, I hope you guys all check out this video at least long enough to hear the song Venus with a Whip. I don't know what the future for this song holds. I do know that Peppy told me he has got it registered. He does give Ace credit on there along with himself as the sole writers, as he should.
yeah,
And so I'm not gonna, don't get mad at me. This is under Peppy's, you know, we talked about it. And initially he gave me the full go, and I kind of just I'm over cautious to cause problems. So I basically gave him a chance to rethink it, and he did say just play like half the song. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm sure he will make this available somehow, somewhere on some format. If he does, and I hear about it, I will certainly pass that information along on this channel.
hey, that's cool, bro. Hey, I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. Okay, I know we got off on a tirade about, you know, everything Kiss, but that's kind of the way this thing goes. But we do have another album review coming up. I don't know if we're doing it tonight or tomorrow. It doesn't matter either way, because by the time you see this, it'll already be tomorrow. So
Yeah,
until
and
next time.
we're the
Yeah,
only ears to hear this before the world,
yeah,
almost.
that's it.
Yeah, that makes me
That's
feel
it.
like somebody anyway.
I mean, I'm sure he's confided in a few other people. He did say he was going to start soliciting some of the Ace Frehley fan forums with the same opportunity he gave me. So I should have jumped on this right away, but I'm not the kind of guy who needs to be first. I want to represent it the best. So
Yeah.
not a lot of people have heard this out of the industry, put it that way. So I hope you appreciate what he has allowed us to give you, and check out all of his social media. Do a Google search. The guy is constantly putting stuff out. He's a music junkie like we are. I've just watched several videos that he's put out. I will be doing some reaction stuff to that, probably on this channel, because I shut my reaction channel down. That's a whole nother other story. I mean, the channel's still there, but I'm no longer creating content for it as of right now. So maybe I'll bring it on here. He seems like a fantastic guy. He's incredibly talented. His music is so unique. So maybe I'll give him some space and time to produce, you know, to show you some of his stuff on here. If you don't want to watch, don't watch it. That's fine. But just an option.
Yeah, man.
And until next time, yeah,
I'm up for anything. I don't care, dude.
yeah.
You call the shots, and I love all that. I love
Look here,
all.
I'm all for promoting talent, whether it is the veterans, whether it is up and comers or people who never got a shot, whatever it is. Which is why I started my other channel. However, the other channel got taken over basically by a fan of one band, and those videos that they would request I do of that band were getting 3,000, 4,000, 6,000, 10,000 views. And then every other band I would put on there was, excuse me, getting like 40 views. Man.
All right.
Excuse me, my throat dried. Wow. Anyway,
Yeah.
take it over. Take it over. I gotta try to get
Yeah,
some voice
man.
back.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. And look, we appreciate everybody, man, that comments on what we do. I mean, I try to get to everything. I even go back through and look, guys, anybody that's come on here lately, man, go back through our catalog, dude, and check it out. Give us your opinion on some of this stuff because our catalog's not old. I mean, we've been here for about a month, give or take, because I've seen how long it's been since the first video till now, and we've done a lot of stuff. Now, we started off with the first 3 albums, and that's before we decided to just let's mix things up. Let's just don't go along with the flow of things like the albums came out. But it would be cool to have some people that really know behind the scenes stuff with people that we damn love and have enjoyed for a lifetime. So yeah, man, jump on, give us your comments, dude. If you don't like something, be like us. Don't be afraid to say, hey, yeah, you don't like something I say or do, let me know. Hey, it's my opinion, man. I'm not pushing anything on anybody. Rob's not pushing anything on anybody. It's just, this is the kind of thing that I wanted. I could not be with anything that just, well, hey guys, let's just kind of, don't do this or do that before we get started. That's I would screw up. So that's why I've enjoyed this experience thus far and still do, and looking forward to whatever's to come. And any kind of hard rock musics that come with it. I love it all just about. So
And I will be bringing, I've got some really good feedback for Scott Beeson, the 30 plus year DJ radio broadcast personality that I brought on.
yeah.
And I keep in touch with him. I will have him on here to talk about this shortly with all 3 of us. And I will have him on as much as he's willing to be on, because the more stories, the more opinions, the better. Obviously, you don't want 10 people on here and everybody gets, a minute out of the hour to talk. But like I said, anybody out there who feels they can add something, tell stories, be factual, don't make shit up. Whether you're a legitimate, star, someone in the industry, or just a regular Joe like us, we'll certainly hear what you have to say. And if it sounds like it's something that would work, we'll throw you on once in a while. It's just, we're here to have everybody have an ability to talk about their favorite band. That's it.
And one more thing.
And we will be doing things for the rock hard section on this same YouTube page if we ever want to talk about AC/DC, Van Halen, whoever, Motley Crue. And those will happen. Those days are coming.
Yes.
So it'll still be all under, I don't know if you saw it, I rebranded it from Strange Ways and or Rock Hard, and I just put Rob's Rockcasts. That's the YouTube page.
Yes.
And on that page, that's like the mothership. And then everything we do will have its own playlist.
Yes, that sounds great, man. And absolutely. And I forgot what the frick I was going to say. God dang it. I was going to say, and one more thing.
I get long-winded. I get long-winded, sorry.
No, I do too. I just don't keep my frame of thought. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, dadgummit. Well, anyway, I'll think of it and tell you whatever. I'm getting old, guys. Oh, no. Here it is.
Whoa.
Peter Criss, Ace, Bruce Kulick. If any of y'all see this, and I know it's a rare thing, but we'll do anything, man, that we can just to have anybody like that. Just talk to us for 10 minutes. I don't care. Yeah, it'd be great. I love it. I love all you guys, and just
that means you. That includes my boy Eric Singer and Tommy Thayer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, him too. I don't know about.
And even as much as he gets, I'm not judging anybody that I don't know.
I love it.
He gets a bad rap, but I'm telling you what, I would have Vinnie Vincent on in a heartbeat.
I would too.
Any member of the Kiss family, I would welcome on here. That's just the way it is. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just trying to think off of a
Yep.
whim here. We're getting ready to close this one down, and I just, if you ever get bored, and I know most of the time you probably won't, and you just want to screw with some guys that would never think that you would be here, we're the guys. All right.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you have it, everybody. And until we bring our next album ranking out, which will be probably by the time you finish watching this, it'll either be done or just about done, so it won't be long. That's why our catalog is so deep after only a month. We're not bringing you one a week. We're not committing. I'm not following YouTube's algorithm, how to do YouTube channel stuff. I'm not doing that they all recommend one video a week at this time so they know when you, and you got to careful when you upload it. What time of day does your audience usually watch? It doesn't matter. If we got something to say, we're putting it up. You'll get to it when you get to it.
That's fine.
I don't care about the algorithm. I don't care if our video gets buried in the algorithm because it came out in 4 a.m. I don't care.
Absolutely.
Man, I'm losing my voice again.
Okay. Well, thanks. I'll do this one. Thanks for watching, everybody. And we hope you have a pleasant day, a pleasant month, and hope the good Lord will bless us with some cool weather before long. Yeah.
Thanks for watching.